It's a new background. I own things. I have personality. This I painted. These are from film festivals. These are just cool. And this is some 35mm film that was ruined by a faulty camera and I just shoved it in a frame and called it art. Hey ghosts! On this week's video, I'm going to do something fun. I've been tackling too much culture and getting too socio-political, and a girl just needs a break sometimes. So today I'm doing the cultural dimensions test to find out which country in the world my values most align with. That's what people do for fun, right? If you're wondering how I find this stuff, it finds me. Well, people post their results on social media and the algorithm finds me. Sam from Mensa, if you're watching this, you did this. The cultural dimensions test is designed around Hofstede's... Hofstede? Oh, I should Google it, shouldn't I? Hofstede. The cultural dimensions test was designed around Hofstede's cultural dimensions theory. This shows the effects of a society's culture on the values of its members and how these values relate to behaviour. Basically, it's saying that the rules and social norms of a country shape its people, and this test determines which country you would be suited to live in. Obviously, it's for fun, and I can tell you, the country I live in, not everyone is on the same page. But if this video gets 100,000 views, I will move to the country I get. Felt like my own brain sabotaged me from saying that. It's like, stop! Why are you doing this, Ash? We don't need to move. Yes, we do. I hope it's a warm country. So I love a personality test. Not because I think it's going to tell me who I am, but because it gets you to reflect on your behaviours and think about who you want to be. And I hope the web designer of this test also took the opportunity to reflect on their behaviours and think about who they want to be. What in the ad revenue black hole is this? The test itself takes up such a small part of the screen. Maybe this is part of it. If you have the patience to get to the end, then you get to live amongst monks. Also, at the side here, it has a list of reasons for why you should take the test. And the top one, number one, is it's free. Not it's good, or it's fun, or it's accurate. The number one reason is that it's not worth a penny. Question 1. The economic system in my country should be structured in a way that maximally rewards individual efforts. This is question 1. What a place to start. I thought this was going to be like, do you like parks or city centres? Maximally rewards individual efforts. Soft no? I think that sounds like a every person for their self kind of thing, and that's a bit ugh. Question 2. Women are naturally better suited to household chores and raising children than men. This was supposed to be fun. Some women are, some women aren't. I realise that I'm not a big fan of generalisations, and that's all this quiz is. I'm gonna go neutral on this one because I think it's down to the person. Question 5. Trying to control the future through rules and guidelines is asking for disappointment. It depends what future. As someone who successfully saved up so that they could take a leap of faith into the freelance world, rules and guidelines brought me a lot of joy. But on a bigger scale, societal rules and guidelines are frequently changed. I'm going to go neutral for this one too. I'm going to end up so neutral that they're going to suggest that I live in outer space. Question 6. People get their best and most valuable ideas in the environments that allow for loose and spontaneous decisions. I agree with this a bit, but I'm trying to contextualize it in a way that I understand. If we all had universal basic income, then we would all be free to do whatever we wanted with our lives. I would still work on films, but I would have more room to be creative because I wouldn't have to work on things that I don't want to, that pay the bills. Soft yes. Question 10. Followers should be expected to obey their leaders without question. Who is answering yes to that? If you live in a country where you're required to obey your leader without question, you probably don't have access to this quiz. Hard no. Question 12. Men are naturally more dominant and competitive than women. I think men are nurturally more dominant and competitive than women. Some of the time. Women can be dominant and competitive too, but it's societally expected of men to be dominant and competitive. And honestly, the best people aren't. Neutral on that one. Question 16. Superiors should take care of their subordinates who in turn owe obedience and loyalty to them. Elon, is that you? Is this Twitter? Hard no. Question 17. Saving more money than you need is almost always a good idea. Right. Saving money so that you are going to be okay in the face of adversity is a great idea. But hoarding wealth, I think the question is asking on a small scale. You wouldn't call billions savings, right? Soft yes. Question 19. It's important to give everyone a comfortable life regardless of their contributions.
Say it louder for people at the back.
This I would get on a t-shirt. Hard yes. Question 20. People could be able to have everything they need or want if we just let them. What does that mean? I don't have the ability to just let them. Does someone out there, like, who is we? Let them. I mean, yeah? Question 25. It is very important to have time for fun and relaxation. Well, yes, cultural dimensions test it is. If you only knew. Question 27. I would rather focus on a few long-term goals than many more immediate ones. That's a tough question, but I think I soft agree. I consider most choices I make in terms of future impact, and I'm beginning to fret about the future impact of this quiz on my life. Question 28. Getting a university education is generally a good idea. You're asking someone with a filmmaking degree, a skill so non-specific in a part of the world that makes hardly any films. It is generally a good idea. Question 32. It is generally better to play it safe than risk the unknown. Both have their merits. There's a time to play it safe, but there's so much to gain by risking the unknown. I am absolutely ending up in space. Question 35. The future will probably not be very different from the past. It's only been 3 decades, and the world is completely different now to the day I was born. Unrecognizable. What are the chances that this is it? Of course the future's going to be different. Or is this a history repeats itself kind of question? Soft no. I am culturally aligned with Finland. Finland's not hot. Are we aligned though? It looks like we only matched on one thing, 2 at a push. So I prefer a lower power distance, which means I work to equalise power distribution and demand tangible reasons for power inequalities in the government of my country. Oh yeah, that sounds like me. I prefer a balance between collectivism and individualism, although I lean more towards collectivism. I prefer a balance between high and low uncertainty avoidance. So I neither do nor don't avoid uncertainty. Ambiguous. Cool. I prefer a balance between short and long-term orientation. Yeah. I prefer indulgent. I prefer indulgent over restraint. Oh, it's supposed to say indulgence. It means I take pleasure in life and have fun rather than stick to social rules and avoid taboos. Fair enough. So if I'm from Scotland and my results suggest that I am neither culturally aligned with Scotland nor the UK, is this accurate at all? Because the people I saw doing it online also didn't align with the country they were from. Let's find out what it thinks the countries are like. So, Latin America, Asian countries, African areas, and the Arab world are likely to prefer hierarchical structures and power distance. Austria and Denmark are like, no power for me, thank you. Germany scores a high uncertainty avoidance, so that means that they quite like to be uncertain. Sweden and Denmark have very low uncertainty avoidance, so they like things to be certain. This double negative naming is really throwing me. Masculinity is extremely low in Nordic countries. Norway scores 8 and Sweden only 5. In contrast, masculinity is very high in Japan and in European countries like Hungary, Austria, and Switzerland, influenced by German culture. High long-term orientation scores are typically found in East Asia, with South Korea having the highest possible score of 100. Wow. So South Korea is really all about the long term. Individualism is high in the US. Contrarily, Hong Kong and Serbia, Malaysia, and Portugal are considered to be collectivists. There is even less data about the 6th dimension. Indulgence scores are highest in Latin America, parts of Africa, the Anglo world, and Nordic Europe. Restraint is mostly found in East Asia and Eastern Europe. But, are they? I think I'm going to take this with a pinch of salt. Even like I say, within the UK, there's so many differing opinions on how the country should be run. I know for a fact that we're not all on the same page. We're not even all on the same page in Scotland. I don't want to get political. The whole point in this was to have fun. Well, if you're from Finland, let me know if I'm one of you. And if you're from anywhere, Take the test and see if you align with the cultural values that your country has cultivated for you. Nice. See you next time.